Morning Dish.
He's the hardest working man in show business. His band's music takes you into the midnight hours. And when you wake up, his voice is back on your radio alarm clock. How on earth did this happen?
Well, Jeff saw me taking out the trash at the radio station.
And he won another award.
But this one is better.
I'm your boogeyman. That's what I am.
It's the Morning Dish with the 2019 Radio Personality of the Year winner, Stephen Phillips.
You paying attention to this, Packy?
And Murphy's own Sherry Raines.
Yeah, you must have given horseback passes to the right guy, Stephen.
Well, giddy up.
And Packy Smith's Shetland pony is right alongside.
You guys know these demo tapes don't just edit themselves together, right?
Well, all right.
3 cheers for Stephen Phillips.
Y'all need to help Stephen Phillips out over there. Out the door and off the radio.
Here's Stephen Phillips.
All righty, folks, back with you, and we've got a heavy hitter on, radio personality, comedian, actor, voice artist. It's got an internationally syndicated radio show, the Rick Dees Weekly Top 40 Countdown, and my favorite, the writer and the singer of Disco Duck. Good morning, Rick Dees. How are you, brother?
Hey, Stephen. What a joy to talk to you. I've been listening to you and Packy and Sherry online.
Bless you.
I really
Bless
have.
your heart.
Listen, I know what you look like exactly, but with me, every picture you see of me is an airbrush picture in Photoshop.
Hey, I'm cool with Photoshop. I have no problem with Photoshop whatsoever. I guarantee it. I love it.
Stephen
How are you?
photoshops to the point that his pictures are just blur.
Yeah, pretty
Yeah.
Now,
much.
listen, Sherry, help me on this. I've done so many interviews myself. I want this to be more of a conversation, so I'm going to start it out. Sherry, where did you grow up?
I grew up in Texas.
Mm-hmm. And you're single? You're married?
I'm married. A couple, 3 times.
Well, about times 6. She's been married like 40 years if you total it all up.
Actually, that's over 40 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you, Stephen, for that.
Yeah,
But,
yeah.
you know, it's funny. Listeners want to know all about you, and they have a personal relationship with you. And again, before you turn on the microphone, you have to say, what's in it for the listeners? So what are they thinking about this week? They're thinking about COVID. They're thinking about the fact that, do I want somebody to jab me? I don't mind somebody testing me going into the store, but I don't want to have somebody tell me they have to hit me with a needle going in the store. So
Right.
there's a lot going on in people's minds. And their kids, do I get my daughter vaccinated at age 2? Questions like that. They don't want to know about bowling.
No, I'm with you on that.
They really get
You know.
absolutely no information from our show, to be honest, on anything
I mean,
relevant.
honestly,
so.
I think the majority of the people who listen to our show is with us. If you want to get vaccinated, I'm cool with that. If you don't, I'm fine with that. I mean, it's like a 99.9% survival
I
rate.
just don't want to tell. I don't really get into politics or that much. I mean, whatever you believe is fine with me. But still, there's a big difference between. Are you ready? Somebody saying we're going to test your saliva and your temperature going into Applebee's, but in order to go into Applebee's, we're gonna actually hit you with a needle. Wow, that's a big jump, isn't it?
So are they doing this somewhere?
Well, now you're in
Yeah, they're doing
California,
this
man. You're out
No,
there. all
yeah,
in California.
I heard about the
They're
In-N-Out
doing it
burger
in
thing.
California, where I have a place, and they're doing it in New York City.
Really?
They're doing it. We've got the Seattle Police Department. Almost 50% of the police department is saying no. We've got. Let's take different airlines are saying no. You know what? I don't mind if you test me. I have a friend at the Jet Propulsion Laboratory in Pasadena who has come up with everybody swabs the inside of their mouth, and they put the cotton swabs inside this box.
Right.
And if the box has a green light, all 100 people who went in are fine. If not, somebody tested positive for COVID, and they have to do it again. That, to me, is a major breakthrough.
Yeah, but here's the problem down south. The tobacco spit kind of messes up the test, so.
This just all sounds like good reasons not to live in California or New York to me.
Now, you have to understand something. I was born in Jacksonville, Florida.
Right.
At age 8, we moved to Guilford County to Greensboro, North Carolina. So I grew up in North Carolina.
Yeah, you're a Southern boy.
And then what I did, and I was just telling Packy this, in order to do voiceovers, you have to have, like, as they say, no accent. So I worked for 30 years to remove any accent, but I still love the North Carolina accent is different because we don't say in North Carolina, we don't say no. No, I'm not going to. No, it's a very old English tight O. No, I'm not going there.
Right, there you go. But now,
kidding?
hey, the Southern accent's the sexiest accent in the world, man.
Yeah, well, there you go. I think it's a wonderful accent.
Yeah, Yonk too.
All
I mean,
my
come
family
on.
has a Southern accent. My mother grew up in Goldsboro, North Carolina, and her sister was taught in high school. Are you ready? By Andy Griffith.
Oh, my.
No kidding.
Yeah, he taught high school in Goldsboro. Andy Griffith, if you've ever been to Mount Airy, they've
Yes,
taken
I
the
have.
entire city and turned it into Mayberry.
Right. Yeah, we've been there.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, I mean, we're in the South.
So,
You know, that's like the holy grail of the South is Mayberry.
Yeah, but Stephen, be honest with me. It shows me on the website. You know, you're in the back of a boat and you're jet skiing and you're doing all this stuff. Are you that much of an athlete? You look awesome.
Well, I'm actually the driver. I'm the driver. I'm always
Have you actually seen a picture of Stephen? Like, really seen a picture?
not airbrush, not without the airbrush
No,
stuff going
I
on.
see a picture of Stephen getting the award, and well deserved, I might add.
Oh, listen to that, Packy. You heard that, didn't you? You heard that.
Is this being recorded, Packy?
Oh, I got it.
Yeah, you got it.
Oh, hold on a second. Are you ready for this?
Yeah.
Okay. Stephen Phillips, #1 in all of Western North Carolina, brought to you by Preparation H with Biodyne. Trace hemorrhoids without use of surgery.
Hey, listen. I actually got a whole box of spam sent to me from the spam company.
Hormel. He got Hormel swag.
Yeah, so I mean, you know, I'm
I
pretty.
did the commercial for Spam one time. I did.
I love it.
It's fantastic. You know what? If you fry it with and then put it on a piece of, you have to put it on multigrain bread now, and mayonnaise and mustard.
Duke.
To me, that was pretty good.
Duke mayonnaise. Do y'all have Duke mayonnaise out there?
You know what? It's mainly stuff like Hellman's and no, Duke mayonnaise is awesome.
Oh, that's the best
But
in the world.
not as awesome as Duke Power.
Well, yeah, I can do without some of that. Well, now tell me something. Now I'm all about this disco. You wrote the Disco Duck, which was a big hit, but for you, actually got you fired. I think. Did you get fired over that?
Yeah, you know what? I wrote Disco Duck, and on this date, believe it or not, in 1976, it was #1 on the way to selling 6 million copies. So I spent $800 at Stephen and Sherry and Packy. I spent $800, went into a studio. I'd been writing little songs ever since I was a kid, and I called in every favor possible. I even had strings and horns. It was amazing. So we did it, put it out, and it was on the Free Tone Records label, and you can't do much with that. So I sent it around. Nobody called me back, and finally Al Corey in Hollywood at RSO Records, the Robert Stigwood organization with the Bee Gees and all that, said, "Hey Rick, I played this for my kids. They went nuts. We'll buy it. We'll buy the master tape for $3,500, and we'll give you a penny a copy." Now I'm 24, 25 years old,
Right.
So I said, "Okay, I'll check with Stephen Phillips. He'll know."
Yeah.
And so Stephen Phillips told me, "Go ahead and do it, Rig."
Yeah.
You know what? So anyway, we put it out, and wow, when it went on RSO Records, it was close to #1. So I go on the air, and they had told me not to play the song. I was the morning man and also the program director of WMPS in Memphis, Tennessee. I mean, we owned the town, had
Right.
the deed to the city in the back pocket. It takes so much to become #1, as you know. And so next thing you know, I didn't play it, but I was on the way. I'd been invited to go to American Bandstand and perform Disco Duck.
Oh,
Never
man, that's
been to
cool.
Hollywood in my life. I'm now 25 years old, and I mentioned, Memphis, I got to tell you something. Something terrific is going to happen. I'm going to do American Bandstand. Watch it on Channel 5 this week, and I'll be back on Tuesday, and then all of a sudden all the TV cameras show up and everything. So they taped me saying that I'm going to do Disco Duck on American Bandstand. They leave, and the general manager, John, said, "Hey, Rick, I need to see you in my office and bring your headphones." Now, let me explain something to the audience. When they say bring your headphones, that means they're going to keep your headphones, but not you.
Oh, I'm going to remember that.
So I went into his office. He said, "We're going to have to part ways, And I said, "Oh, don't worry. I did the music for Monday, and we're coming." He said, "No, I'm firing you. I said, what? And I remember, this is terrible to admit, I just love radio so much, I got tears in my eyes.
Right.
And I said, John, no. I mean, he said, get out of here. And so I went out there to Hollywood, and then 3 days later, this is Hollywood, where underneath all of this tinsel is more tinsel.
Yeah.
And I'm backstage at ABC Television, and it's dark. And listen to me, Stephen and Sherry, this is amazing. Packy, you'll love this. I feel this hand go around my shoulder, and this voice says, hey, Rick, I heard you were fired. So sorry. I'm going to do everything I can to get you, because I love your show. I love your comedy. I love all that. I'm going to see if we can get you to Hollywood. And I look over, and it's Dick Clark.
Oh man.
That's pretty
How
big.
cool will that be? That's awesome.
And it was so cool. I can't believe it. We became really good friends, and he just, it was so kind to me. He syndicated the first countdown I did, which is now, every week I do the countdown. I'm so blessed that 70 million people listen to it around the world.
That's crazy. I'm gonna tell you something though, man. Don't feel bad about being fired. I've been fired a lot for just absolutely doing nothing.
Yeah.
Well, that was the first.
Yeah.
That was the first time. Then I get to L.A. and I'm fired again.
Yeah, it happens to me all the time.
But here's the thing. I was fired. I couldn't get a job for about a year, and then they called me and they said, "Listen, we've got this disco station, and it's KIIS. If you did the morning show, what would you do?" I said, "First of all, give your address. Say that you're 97.7, the morning dish.
There you
say
go.
it. That's your address. So say 102.7. Don't say KIIS. 102.7 KIIS-FM. Rick Dees in the morning, and number one hits all day long.
Now, this
Brought
was
to you by Preparation H.
This was a station that was kind of failing until you got there, wasn't it?
It was worth. They bought the station for $15 million. We go on, and I remember this board of directors guys coming in, with these suits and saying, "If you ever get a 5 share, but the station had like a 0.7, a 5 share, we'll get you a country club membership anywhere you want." So next thing you know, in less than a year, we had a 5,
Wow.
and then a 7, and then a 10.
So what
and then
country
in the
club did
morning,
you pick?
12. By this, let me explain. In Los Angeles and Hollywood terms, they're minting money. The station, before it was sold several years ago, was valued at almost $500 million.
Wow.
And so I only got 10% of that.
Well, bless your heart.
You poor little thing.
Bless your heart.
The preceding line was a total 100% lie. It would have been nice. Remember, I got a penny per single. You're supposed to ask me how much money I made off of Disco Doc.
We thought that would be in poor taste. Well, I thought that would be in poor taste. Steven
I'll let
doesn't
your
think
audience
that far.
okay, look, it sold 6 million copies, and I got a penny. So you all of you put your heads together. How much money? Okay, it sold 6 million copies. Everybody listening now in all of Georgia and western North Carolina and the most beautiful Blue Ridge Mountains, which is the oldest mountain range in the world.
Right.
Okay, tell me how much did Rick Dees make off of Disco Doc?
I'm just figuring here, $9.63.
Like $60,000? Is that about?
They're very good, Sherry. I made $60,000, and like an idiot, I took the $60,000 and built a geodesic dome at Lake Enid, Mississippi, just south of Memphis, and all the money was gone.
Wow, we'd have bought cigarettes and beer if we'd have got that.
And fried chicken. Don't forget the fried chicken.
You know something? Now, you're in the radio
How's the
business.
interview going so far?
I
think we're doing pretty well.
We just, the music today to me is just, I don't like it. I don't like the country music, the country bro stuff they got going on, all that. Do you think disco will ever come back? I miss disco, man. I mean, I've actually started a coalition.
Here it is. The answer is music that you can move to. So if Disco Duck is what we call a 4/4 stomp beat, bump 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 bump. So if you do any music that people can move to and repeat in their car,
right,
mainly, then then that's okay. So you can call it whatever you want. You can call it hip hop. You can call it whatever. I love hit music. For example, next week in Hollywood, I'm interviewing two of the greatest drummers of all time. One is named, you may have heard it, Ringo Starr.
Ah, yes, absolutely.
And the other is a guy named Jim Keltner. He's played on so many. In fact, he was playing with the Traveling Wilburys when you interviewed a wonderful singer, Miss Carter.
Oh, yeah.
And please tell her that I listened to that great, wonderful interview you did.
She's a sweetheart. Jesus.
He played with. If you hear "Light My Fire," that drum, that's Jim Keltner.
Wow.
So what I'm saying is, whatever the music is, if you can sing along with it and feel good about it, that's terrific. And what you might be saying is, I don't know if some of these lyrics I want for my daughter as our drive. We're going to school together. I just don't know if I want her to listen to that right now at age 8. That's the problem.
Yeah, I'm with you.
And here's
man.
what they do. They say, we cleaned up the lyrics for radio, but come on. You're telling me that people who are young don't know when the word blank has been edited
Exactly.
out?
Yeah.
Of course they do.
I'm with you, man. I'm with you. And music's powerful, man. I mean, I guarantee, and I love it. I mean,
It
you know,
really is. I was just thinking,
I think
is there a song that makes you cry?
every one of Steven's songs makes me cry. Every single one.
Stephen, you are amazing. What instruments do you play?
I don't really. I play a guitar in G, C, and D, and every now and then I get fancy and throw an E in there, but that's about it.
No, your band is awesome.
Yeah, we have a lot of fun, man. We have a lot of fun. But if I looked like Brad Pitt, I might have had a better chance. But I look like Jack Nicholson. So
There is a song, if you've never heard it, if you go back and before you say, "Oh, come on," there is one song that, and you mentioned marriages and all that and kids. It's called "Daddy, Don't You Walk So Fast."
I know that song.
Believe it or not, by Wayne Newton.
Yep, I know that
If
song.
you listen to that song and the story in that song, it just grabs for me. And we're talking about it goes back so many years. You can download it. "Daddy, Don't You Walk So Fast." It just tears at you.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, that's a cool tune. Yep, I know that song very well. Rick, we have got to get to break. You know how this all works. But, man, I'd love to have you back on. You are a
Brought to
wealth
you
of
by
knowledge.
Preparation H with Biodyne.
There you go, man. I love it. And keep on. Are you on the radio right now, or are you actually
I'm on the radio right now.
I'm talking
Yeah.
about in California.
Oh, I didn't mention to you, I told you about all that good stuff. I now have 7 listeners.
Oh, well, you're out doing this.
No.
You know, we started out, our station was like $15 million, and since we've been on, it's down to what, about 203?
You guys sound great. Seriously, you're a joy to listen to.
Hey, man, I appreciate you, man, really.
Well, thank you,
I
Rick.
love
And
your
we've been
work.
listening to you for years, literally, and
Yeah.
always enjoyed
Oh,
your
Sherry,
shows.
thank you.
Always
And tell
enjoyed 'em.
Packy I love that Photoshop of his head. I'm going to use that and print it out for Halloween.
He said he printed out like 7 copies of my picture.
He got a pretty little round head. His
Yeah.
AK name is Little Pasty.
That's my rapper name, Lil Pasty.
Oh, I love Little Pacey. Well, you know what? You're Lil Nas X is pretty hot these days.
Yeah. Wait till I hear a Little Pasty. All right, man, you be good. Go back to bed.
Okay, thank you so much. We'll talk to you soon.
All right, man, you
Thanks,
take care.
Rick.
Bye-bye.
That was interesting.
Oh, man, he's
I
a
like
cool guy.
him. I have listened to him for years.
Thank you for spending a little time with us. And remember, you can tune in every morning at WJULradio.com at 8 a.m. Eastern. And please subscribe to our YouTube channel and like us on Facebook, The Morning Dish.